Right. Once more into the caves. Who knows, maybe speeding things up will mean we'll reach Cerulean by the end of the clip. At the very least, we're gonna be getting pretty familiar with Zubats around here. There's a reason why a lot of people just get sick of dealing with the things. Ah, Clefairy. And like with a number of others, it's a shame that we've only got 6 slots for the team. Ah well, guess we're putting another one in the box. Clefairy might not have anything that can put us to sleep, but frankly it looks too similar to Jigglypuff for me not to worry about that. Could it be considered racist if I treat both of the normal-typed pink puffballs in the first generation the exact same? Sure, they're distinct enough when it comes to body shape, but they both fill the same kind of visual role. This is one of the few situations where I hope the enemy's growling actually does neuter our attacks. It'd be a little awkward to knock out the Pokemon we're planning on capturing here. Of course, that raises a non-gameplay question of why can't we capture a Pokemon with a Pokeball if we knock them unconscious? I know the gameplay explanation is it would make capturing various Pokemon way too easy if we could do it once they're no longer able to fight back in any way, shape, or form. Assuming they ever actually could. But I can't think of any in-universe explanation, especially since I think I remember some captures in the anime where Ash takes in something he knocked unconscious completely beforehand. Well, it can't be that rare. We found one before we found a Geodude after all. Anyway, think I'll go with the nickname of Morgan, as in Morgan Le Fay. Probably a bit too grand a name to give to someone who's gonna be stuck in the box for the rest of the game, but the only other name that I could come up with at the time was Preacher. And considering Clefairy is never gonna be joining our actual team, naming one Preacher somehow made me worry it might start forming a cult inside of the box we send it into. While I'm all for people thinking up of various antics that might go on in the box, as our team keeps going through the Kanto region here, the last thing we need is for there to be a religious divide between the Dome and Helix fossils. It's actually kind of funny that I've never actually watched the Twitch Plays Pokemon stream, but I still know a decent amount about it. One of these days I should probably sit down and actually watch that in its entirety, if only because everyone I know who did watch it says it was actually pretty awesome to see. I'm more likely to try re-watching the anime and maybe trying to see if I can watch it further than when I gave up on it as a kid, though. Statistically speaking, I'm actually pretty surprised we still haven't run into any Geodudes in this cave by now. I could have sworn they were pretty common around here. Are you kidding me? We triggered a random encounter on the exact same square we would have been attacked by a trainer. Granted, it makes a good deal of sense that a rocket grunt would pull that sort of thing. Still doesn't change the fact that I've never actually seen that happen to me before. Oddly enough, I think I'm more proud of that bit of bad luck than I would be to find a shiny Pokemon, but then, shinies aren't a thing just yet in this generation. That only started to be a thing in the second, if I'm remembering right. And that's another win for Phyllis. Well, as tempting as it is to get Takanabori back up here so we can get some more experience, I think we're getting to the point where trainers are too close to our level for that to really fly that well. But then we've arguably been in that kind of shape since the previous clip as well. Right, looks like we're going to be making another trip into the Pokemon Center after this bloody battle is over. Either this is the fact that I underleveled against Brock starting to come back to bite me, or things escalated faster than I remember once we take down the first gym in the first game. Well, at least Balaram got a quick and easy win there instead of smacking himself unconscious. That's always a bit of a risk when you get hit by confusion, really. Oh, don't feel too bad. Your entire organization is going to be taking plenty of lumps in this game and the sequel. So it's not like your personal reputation is going to take a hit for losing to the mute kid who happened to cross your path. Of course, now I can't help chuckling that the first two generations are the only ones that seem to have all that much in terms of continuity between generations of games. Because the second generation is the only one where you outright travel through a previous game's region. I suppose there are cameos of other characters from the older games showing up occasionally, but outside of extremely rare stuff like Sabrina being a movie star for some reason, and Oak getting a tan, we never really get a sense that these characters have changed or grown from when we first saw them. I know I said I didn't get into the games after the third generation, and I also know I wasn't drawn in by the character interactions. The storytelling, for the most part, doesn't really lend itself well to that kind of thing for the most part. But still, sometimes if you're gonna try pulling on the nostalgia card strings, it'd be nice to have bigger interactions with some old characters. I know the Pokemon themselves are the real draw, which is part of why the whole Dexit thing for Sword and Shield made even less sense to me than any of the other decisions Game Freak made there. But there's more to nostalgia than just throwing a Charizard at us and saying, Gen 1 representation! Not that I really know how they could have better used nostalgia if that's what they think sells more games. Again, I dropped out of this series at about the third generation, and everyone I know who actually went through all the Pokemon games says somewhere around the fourth or fifth, the games felt like they were just checking things off a list instead of actually trying to make the overall experience better. Well, we're certainly not in any hurry to be done with Mount Moon, apparently. Granted, me wandering to some of the same areas and being absolutely sure there's nothing else there to grab and no one else there to battle is a good way for me to grind, without just mindlessly patrolling the same little area over and over again. And, just found it funny that we're fighting our way to the spot we fought that first rocket grunt in, with no other sign of progress here. I mean, really? Really? This is gonna be a long game. Well, it's about bloody time we ran into a Geodude. Really could have sworn they were a lot more common in this mountain. Technically speaking, Kohaku isn't the greatest matchup against a Geodude. Still, if I sent out Phyllis, it'd be way too easy to knock the bastard out instead of capturing him. Yeah, that seems to have softened him up enough to put him in a ball. And that's another member of the main roster ready. I kinda wish we'd been tripping over these things instead of running into so many Zubats. Would have given Phyllis more to do. Marbleback isn't a particularly creative name, but at least it's better than calling the rock-based Pokemon Rocky. It was either that or going with a name like Hardy. Right, just need to do some healing, put Marbleback on the team, and then start leveling him up alongside Takenobori. At least a Geodude can defend itself from the start. That's gotta be worth something. Right, you're out of the main roster now, Bellaram, and to be fair, it's not your fault at all. Everyone, give a short round of applause for Bellaram. He managed 7 trainer wins in his time with us. That makes him the first ace to get put into the box. Well, tempting as it might be, let's not end this clip at the 13-minute mark. Well, good. Looks like Zubats can't do much damage with Leech Life to a Marbleback. That's gonna make leveling up a bit less troublesome. Not quite as swift as how Mig and Bellaram could take down the same kind of Pokemon, but still. I didn't grab Marbleback for his speed, I grabbed him for his durability. As a side note, it looks like capturing one made every Geodude in the area stop trying to avoid us. At least for now. Bit funny how that works. Seriously, why were they so rare in the mountain until the moment we grabbed one for ourselves? Can somebody who actually knows the numbers for this do the math to tell me how unlikely it was for us not to run into one after that many random encounters in the mountains? Oh, please tell me we're not gonna have a confused rock on our hands here. Ah, god damn it! Right, so a rock type smacking itself in the face is somehow more damaging than if he was hit by a rock or normal type move. Anyone else find that a bit odd? Well, that certainly was closer than I would have liked it, but at least Marbleback won it. Still, we're going right back to the Pokemon Center in a hurry once I'm sure this room doesn't have anything else left for us. Well, that could be useful, but I'll hold off on using it until later in the game. Not that a single HP up would have much of an effect even this early in the game. At least I don't think so. Still, I think I'll wait until much later in the game before what amounts to using Pokemon steroids. I don't think that the actual in-game steroids would help you make a Pikachu that could take on the likes of something like Zapdos. That's actually probably why performance enhancers aren't frowned upon in the Pokemon world, really. Assuming, of course, that the Pikachu isn't either 50 levels higher than the Zapdos or just owned by bloody Ash Ketchum. Okay, fine, we never actually see Ash defeat a Zapdos in either the show or any of the movies, but considering how at times overpowered his Pikachu seems, that little mouse can just take on so many things that should be out of its weight class, yet somehow the little guy manages to lose against another cute little monster for the sake of trying to make that cute thing seem more amazing for a bit. Again, feels a bit awkward to be complaining about things that technically happened when I dropped out of that part of the series. But considering how much the series keeps trying to use nostalgia to bring people back in, and doesn't actually change much of anything, so people from previous generations can smoothly just insert themselves pretty much anywhere without feeling lost, reading things on the internet and then checking for YouTube clips to confirm these things feels perfectly appropriate to me. At least as I'm working on the first generation. If I manage to push myself to the second generation like I'm planning to, then it'd only be fair for me to find the time to push myself to watch the anime episodes for the second generation. Somehow, the beeping when we're low on health doesn't sound as annoying when we're speeding things up like this, though it is a bit annoying that Geodude is having such a hard time leveling up against Zubats when those are so bloody common around here. Maybe I should have leveled him up outside of the cave system we captured him in. Ah well, not much I can do about that now. A Rattata using Hyper Fang is probably overkill against Zubat. Still, considering just how many times we've run into them in this clip alone, I think I'm allowed to essentially smack the annoying flies with a mallet instead of a fly swatter. Sure, we don't get much of a visual representation of us ripping through the little bastards, but it's still cathartic in its own way. Anyway, time to battle someone new before once again retreating to the Pokemon Center. Part of me thinks I should have sent someone other than Meg for this fight just to level someone else up a bit. But I'm getting a little tired of matchups that last for several turns at the moment. didn't think the little guy could take a single shot from this brutal bird. Still, a 2-shot win is still a pretty quick win. Okay, the lady brought 2 plants into a Zubat-infested cave. I call bullshit on her being able to walk this far into the caves with them in perfect condition. Sure, she could have used Repel or Potions to heal her Pokemon, but come on! That just really hurts any credibility that maybe, at some point, the trainers scattered across the caves were trying to walk their way to the other side. I know in a game this old, it's pretty excusable for stuff like that to happen, but come on! 2 out of 3 bits of dialogue she used implied she's lost and has no idea how to get out. We got into fights against the wild Pokemon so frequently in there, it's downright absurd. And both of her Pokemon were types that would have gotten easily eaten alive by the bats all over the place. Bats that are clearly very hungry for blood, since they just keep coming so much that all other Pokemon in the caves have a hard time getting a chance to so much as pop up for a hello. So hungry for blood that they are quite capable of drawing that blood from even stones. Dear God, how does anything other than the bats manage to live in this game? Maybe I should have nicknamed the Zubat I'll never use in this game Krill, after the relentless creatures from the first Gears of War, instead of going for the kinda easy name of Wave. Again, I could have sworn that Geodudes were supposed to be more common in Mount Moon than this. Well, at least Marbleback is able to take down more Zubats than just one, that's worth something. And it probably shouldn't feel like a relief to go up against a Rocket Grunt instead of more of the random Zubats. Oh my god, you absolute prick! That was literally the most evil thing you could have done! Throw another bat at me, yeesh! Yeah, somehow doubt Marbleback is gonna take this one down. Still, may as well give it a shot. We were going to go back to the Pokemon Center after this battle anyway. Okay, this is looking closer than I would have guessed. Really? 2 critical hits against us? Yet somehow we beat him despite a 2-level disadvantage. And, well, Geodude already being at least a little bit worn down. Welcome to the scoreboard, Marbleback. You've taken down the 50th overall trainer Pokemon we've seen so far. Now, what kind of prize do you give a rock Pokemon? I don't think I can afford to give him precious gemstones, but I can't think of anything else to gift him off the top of my head. Not that we're actually able to gift our Pokemon anything here in the first generation. Right, so 3 hits for the snake. Why is it I don't remember the first generation throwing so many things this early on just for the sake of tiring the player out? Is it just the fact that I typically go with Charmander, and he's not weak to the only offensive move the Zubats have, like a Bulbasaur is? Or is there some other reason that isn't springing to mind right now? Well, honestly, if we had a choice, I might actually give the rocket a fossil, since I don't care about those or reanimating the ancient Pokemon yet. If anything, they'd probably make better use of those Pokemon than I would. Hell, did any of the fossil Pokemon in the first generation ever pop up in the later games? I don't recall ever facing anyone in the next 2 generations with fossil Pokemon in their roster, and I certainly would expect to remember someone throwing an Aerodactyl in the later games as I watch them, but then it's been a long time since I've played mainline Pokemon games, so it's possible I just plain forgot about it happening. Again, we get 2 Geodudes back to back. What is it with the algorithm that chooses what we run into with the random encounters in it? Granted, I probably should have used Phyllis more against the trainers to leveling up, but still. Anyway, that should do it for now. Hope I managed to make this clip fun.